Kautachi, what is this documentary on?
This documentary is about the 2012 student elections for the whole school, and we wanted to do this because we wanted to sort of get in the minds to see what goes on backstage and how the individuals who are running feel about the elections, because as spectators you don't really see the whole thing, so it's kind of interesting to try to see how they feel and what their reaction to everything is.
No one is running against them, so they automatically get in. So there's your next year's secretary, next year's treasurer.
I think that the biggest change that needs to be made at the school is that in student government, I think that a lot of the student voice is not heard as much as it could be. So I would like to change, if I were to be elected, that more people would be able to participate for things like more open student government meetings, and to really encourage people coming in, even if they're not part of student representatives, to be a part of student government in some way so that more people can be involved. Because I think that everybody has something they want to say, and I think that they should say it.
I think a big change I can make is just providing more unity in our high school, both between all the grade levels and also between student government and the rest of the student body. I plan to do this by having more all high school events and causes we can all participate in, like having Respect Day and more things like that after Spirit Week, and also having more causes like Dollars for Dustin, in which we're all working together for one common goal. I plan on bridging the gap between student government and the rest of the student body by having our meetings open, which they already are, but publicizing that more, bringing back the suggestion box, and having surveys, and just getting to know really everyone and hearing their ideas, because I think that all perspectives should be heard, and to do the best thing for everyone, we need to hear all of our voices. I think a quality that would make me able to respond to an emergency situation in which a president wouldn't be there, it'd be I can remain level-headed, I'm responsible, and I'm able to think on my feet, and I can be calm and act on the president's behalf. I would know the president and think of what they would want me to do and act for everyone's concern, and I'd just do what's best for all of the school.
I think that a quality that I have is that I have many leadership qualities, and I would be able to take charge quickly and be able to help them. And having been working together with the president and the team, I think that I would know what's going on and enough to be able to take charge.
I think that the biggest change that we can make for our school is bringing back Respect Week so that we can acknowledge the importance of respecting one another and our school. And by doing that, we can bring in more activities like we did the first year that we brought Respect Weekend. And I think that the teachers will buy into this by incorporating their own ideas to get the students to cooperate and mesh together better.
Okay, so the biggest issue that I think, like Camille said, was unifying the grades, because I know although sometimes we think we're together, there's still some sort of tension. And another thing is recycling. You guys have seen the overflowing of recycling bins. It's crazy, and I think I would be able to communicate with the faculty and teachers well, because I pretty much get along with all of them, and I'm not afraid to voice my opinion. And I hope you guys.
So when I first arrived at IPA, one of the very first things that I noticed was how clean everything was and everything looked. The floors were super shiny, and like the air smelled like really clean and good, and like you could drink out of the water fountains, and it made such a big impression out of me because like the school that I came from, like we would dare each other to drink out of the water fountains because it was so gross. And like recently, over like the past couple of months, I've seen that in our school. I've like seen broken chairs and like messed up couches that we have with like plastic wrapping stuffed in it, and you know there's like things growing out of the carpet. And one of the things that I would really like to change about that is to allow all of the clubs and honor societies to use the fundraisers for the money that they've raised from their fundraisers and events to chip in towards like replenishing all of the damages, or you know, like down to things like used expo markers that are all dried out now, and you know, dirty rags that are in the kitchen. I think as president, you already kind of have to go into the job like knowing what you're allowed to do in office and knowing what the student body wants to happen. And I think when it comes down to it, I use my better judgment in deciding what needs to be done, and I try to fulfill the needs of the students and what is allowed to be done in the school at the same time.
So balancing the right thing versus like what's unpopular, it's always a battle that you're gonna have to face. I know I'm bending down, so but I think like the best thing to do, oh thank you Mr. Rankin, would be to, you know, hello? Good? Okay. I think the best thing to do was to explain to the student body, like, hey, you know, this is what's going on. You might not be a fan of this. There's a few things you might not like, but it's for the better. Like, I might not see it now, but it's for the better. And I'm usually pretty level-headed about things. And if possible, I would try to look for a middle ground. But I like to make sure that, you know, you had a full understanding before any decisions were made. Because I know what it's like to not have your voice heard. You just feel like, oh my gosh, why I'm just being thrown into this, but I would like to make sure that it was explained fully and, you know, the right thing was done.
I would make sure that both sides were heard and that we could find an equal ground and find a compromise to both sides, and being able to find a common ground of everyone's interest and make the best decision for the student body.
So let's have one final round of applause for all the candidates.
I feel that it went very good, and good luck to all the other candidates, and we shall see tomorrow.
I think it went good. Well.
I think I did better than I expected. I didn't really, should I be looking at the camera? I didn't really feel that nervous once I got up there, and I was expecting to be really nervous, and I didn't. So I felt like I did pretty well.
How do you feel that the elections are over?
What?
How do you feel about this election?
I think this election is really awesome and awesome.
Okay, for president, I think Zoe had the best speech because she talked to us like we were real people. I think Kelsey had a good speech too because she listed all her qualities.
I don't know. My vote's going for Brooke because she's like the president of everything.
I think the voting's going to be strong. And thanks.
I mean, certainly a high school election is different from a presidential election in that there aren't as many factors, or there aren't as many kind of swing factors involved in the race. I think people are going to go off with kind of their previous experiences with the candidates. I think they're also going to take into account the statements of the candidates and how they responded to the questions. So, I mean, there will certainly be some factors that people will take those into account, but there's really no set factor you can focus on, say, this is why people vote the way they do.
I think the deciding factor in this election is that whoever came off as the most personal and the best leader when we did what's it called? Speeches. When we did the speeches yesterday. I think whoever made the best first impression is going to really affect who wins this election. And for seniors not voting, I think that if we shouldn't be allowed to vote, then we shouldn't be allowed to sign the papers, or if we're allowed to sign the papers, we should be allowed to vote. So, I don't know.
Would it make sense that we don't vote because we're not going to be here next year? I think it doesn't make sense that the upcoming freshmen don't vote.
Are you prepared for next year?
Yes, I am prepared, and I am looking forward to working with the rest of the executive council members.
And what will you do differently than the other previous presidents?
I plan on expanding on our school functions where like the whole high school comes together, and like enhancing the spirit weeks and fall fun week and dances.